It's frustrating, isn't it? You try your best to be kind, but no matter what you do, some people just don't like you. Their cold stares, dismissive words, or even subtle actions make it clear. But why? Why does this happen? And what can you do about it? Hate is a strong word, and often it's rooted in envy, misunderstanding, or even someone's own struggles. Islam teaches us to respond to hatred with wisdom, not emotion, and to reflect on our own actions while staying firm in our faith. If you're serious about understanding why this happens and how to handle it, set aside all distractions and focus on the lessons we're about to share. Grab a cup of tea, sit with yourself, and give this your full attention. Because inshallah, this video will offer you something truly valuable. Something that might just change the way you approach these challenges forever. Lesson 1. Staying true in a world obsessed with the temporary. Look around you. Everywhere you go, it feels like a race. A race to have the latest phone, the flashiest car, or the biggest house. Success for many is measured by how much they own, not by how they live. And if you choose to step out of this race, people question you. They might say, "Why aren't you doing what everyone else is doing? Why aren't you chasing more?" But here's the reality. This obsession with the dunya isn't new. The Quran says, "Beautified for people is the love of that which they desire, of women and sons, heaped up sums of gold and silver, fine branded horses and cattle and tilled land." That is the enjoyment of worldly life. But Allah has with Him the best return. Today, people aren't just chasing wealth. They're consumed by comparisons. Social media shows you the highlights of others' lives, making you feel like you're always behind. Someone posts their luxurious vacation or brand new car, and suddenly, you question your own worth. It's a cycle that leaves you feeling empty, no matter how much you achieve. But here's what we forget. No amount of wealth or status can fill the void in our hearts. That space is meant for Allah. And when you live for Him, not for the approval of others, you break free from this endless chase. You find peace in knowing that the rewards of this world are temporary, but the rewards with Allah are eternal. So the next time someone questions your choices or pressures you to follow the crowd, remember, it's better to stand out for the right reasons than to blend in for the wrong ones. Lesson 2. Envy, a fire that consumes hearts. In life, you'll meet people who can't celebrate your success, even when you've done nothing to harm them. Their heart burns with envy at what you've achieved. It's not that you've taken something from them. It's that your blessings make them feel the lack in their own life. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, "Beware of envy, for it consumes good deeds, just as fire consumes wood." Think about the subtle ways this happens today. Maybe you've worked hard for a promotion or saved for something meaningful, but instead of congratulations, you're met with silence, or worse, passive-aggressive remarks. This isn't about you, it's about them and their struggle to accept that Allah distributes His blessings as He wills. But here's the key. Envy isn't your problem to solve. It's a test of their faith and your patience. What matters is how you respond. Stay humble. Don't let their negativity push you toward arrogance or bitterness. Instead, remind yourself that your blessings are from Allah and that gratitude is your best defense against envy, yours and theirs. Lesson 3. Misunderstandings that turn into hate. Sometimes people dislike you not because of what you've done, but because of what they think you've done. Misunderstandings are powerful. They can create rifts even when no harm was intended. A kind gesture might be misread as arrogance, or a quiet moment mistaken for disrespect. The Quran advises us to guard against this. O you who have believed, avoid much negative assumption. Indeed, some assumption is sin. Now think about real life. Imagine a workplace scenario where you're focused on your tasks, but your silence is taken as coldness. Or a family gathering where your busyness is misunderstood as indifference. These small gaps in communication can lead to big divides in relationships. What can you do in such situations? Clarify your intentions with kindness and honesty. Let them know your heart was in the right place. But here's the reality. Not everyone will want to understand. Some people are intent on holding on to their version of the story, no matter how much you explain or apologize. When that happens, you have to let it go. Holding on to the hope of changing their mind will only drain your energy. Instead, turn to Allah and trust that He knows the truth. Because in the end, it's not their opinion that defines you. It's your sincerity and your standing with Allah that truly matter. Lesson 4. People hate what they don't understand. Sometimes the dislike people feel toward you comes from a place of ignorance. When they don't understand your choices, your beliefs, or your lifestyle, they may judge you unfairly. This isn't just a problem of the modern age. It's a timeless issue that even the greatest people in history have faced. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ himself endured hate and mockery from those who couldn't comprehend his message. The Quran speaks about this. And when they come to you arguing against you, the disbelievers say, "This is nothing but legends of the former peoples." In today's world, this happens in more subtle ways. Someone might mock your modesty because they don't understand its value, or they might dismiss your faith because they're too attached to materialism to see beyond it. It's easier for people to hate what they don't take the time to learn about. How should you respond? With patience and wisdom. Instead of letting their ignorance anger you, use it as an opportunity to represent your values with dignity. Sometimes, your quiet strength and consistency can be the very thing that inspires them to change their perspective. Lesson 5. The test of staying different. As we've explored, standing out often brings challenges, but here's another layer to it. When you choose to stay true to your principles, even when it's uncomfortable, it's not just others who notice. It's a test from Allah. This is where many struggle, because staying different often means facing resistance, even hatred, from those who don't understand your path. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, "Islam began as something strange, and it will return to being strange as it began. So give glad tidings to the strangers." Imagine someone in your family or circle of friends choosing to distance themselves because your lifestyle doesn't align with theirs. Maybe it's your decision to avoid gossip or to prioritize your prayers even in busy moments. While their disapproval might hurt, it's also a sign that your actions are making a statement. This isn't a call to isolation. It's a reminder that being different for the sake of Allah is never in vain. The strength you show in holding on to your values, despite the pushback, is a sign of your faith. And those who truly care for you will eventually come to respect that, even if they don't agree. Lesson 6. The weight of jealousy and gossip. As humans, we're naturally drawn to comparison, and when left unchecked, this can turn into jealousy, a feeling that often leads people to gossip. You might have noticed how easily conversations can shift from light-hearted to harmful, especially when someone isn't there to defend themselves. And if you're the one being talked about, it can feel like betrayal. The Quran warns us, "O you who have believed, avoid much negative assumption. Indeed, some assumption is sin, and do not spy or backbite each other. Would one of you like to eat the flesh of his brother when dead? You would detest it." Think of how this plays out in today's world. A small success, or even just living differently, can spark envy in someone's heart. Instead of addressing their feelings, they might start spreading rumors or questioning your intentions behind your back. It's a coping mechanism for their own insecurities, but it can harm your reputation. So, how do you handle it? By not stooping to their level. Avoid responding with gossip or holding grudges, as it only fuels the cycle. Instead, strengthen your connection with Allah, who knows the truth of every situation. Because in the end, what people say about you doesn't define you. Your actions and intentions do. Lesson 7. The burden of unresolved conflict. Sometimes the dislike people feel toward you isn't rooted in envy or misunderstanding. It's tied to unresolved conflicts. Maybe it's a past disagreement, a perceived slight, or even a misunderstanding that was never addressed. These lingering issues can grow into silent resentment over time. The Quran emphasizes forgiveness and resolution, and let not the hatred of a people prevent you from being just. Be just. That is nearer to righteousness. In real life, this might look like a friend who stops talking to you without explanation, or a colleague who seems distant after a minor disagreement. The key here isn't to let the conflict fester. Instead, approach the situation with humility and clarity. Sometimes, a single conversation can dissolve years of misunderstanding. But here's the reality. Not everyone will want to resolve things, and that's okay. Your job is to ensure your own heart remains free from bitterness. Seek Allah's guidance, and remember that holding on to grudges only weighs you down. By choosing forgiveness, you not only lighten your own heart, but also earn the pleasure of Allah. Life is full of challenges, and dealing with negativity from others is one of them. But here's the truth. Their hate doesn't define you. Your character and intentions do. Islam teaches us to rise above these tests, to stay focused on pleasing Allah, and to let go of what we can't control. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "The believer who mixes with people and endures their harm is better than the one who does not mix with them or endure their harm." But let's not forget to reflect on ourselves too. It's easy to point fingers at others, but what about the traits within us? Do we harbor jealousy, spread gossip, or misunderstand others? The best among us are those who acknowledge their faults and strive to improve. Take a moment to make this dua. Ya Allah, purify my heart from jealousy, envy, and hatred. Grant me the strength to forgive others and the wisdom to overcome negativity with kindness. If this message resonates with you, share this dua in the comments. Ya Allah, purify my heart. Your words might inspire someone else to reflect and grow too. Before you leave, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It costs you nothing but helps us continue to share these reminders. Jazakallahu khair for watching, and may Allah guide us all to live with sincerity, humility, and peace.